Hi, I'm Mike Boyle. This week we're going to talk about squat technique, how to take somebody who's maybe not a great squatter and make them into a great squatter. We're not big bilateral squat people. You're not going to see us putting bars on people's backs, heavy loads, but getting somebody to be able to handle this pattern is really essential. People have got to be able to do this. It's fundamental. I look at it as sort of a ABC type thing. They've got to be able to do the reading, writing, and arithmetic part before we can move into some of these other areas. The number one thing when you're looking at somebody, obviously squatting, is what does it look like? Do you like the way that it looks? If you don't like the way that it looks, we've got kind of three alternatives here, and you may be using all three. But we're going to sort of take them one at a time. If you see somebody and they're squatting and you see this sort of pitched forward action, then I've got to think, okay, how do I get them out of that? I would have told you last year, block their heels up. Now I'm going to tell you goblet squat. Dan John, who's another strength and conditioning coach, great guy, brilliant guy. I won't say he invented the idea of goblet squatting, but he did in fact popularize the idea of goblet squatting. If you can imagine goblet squatting, the way he envisioned it, it was like it was a huge goblet that you would drink out of. But the idea is to hold a dumbbell or a kettlebell, and I actually prefer a dumbbell because when you look, what I really want, I want contact on my sternum and I want contact on my stomach. And I know if I squat and the dumbbell's not on my stomach anymore, I squatted wrong. So I can tell a kid, I need two contact points. I need a sternum contact point, I need a stomach contact point. And then all they're going to ask them to do is simply go down so that their knees touch their elbows, stand back up again. The cool thing about this, sometimes it immediately cleans it up. It's almost magical. And that was something that we experimented with last summer. We took a bunch of kids who were not good squatters and said, okay, let's just goblet squat. 90% of those kids, and we're talking high school kids, gangly kids, kids who tended to kind of adduct and internally rotate, those kids got better right away. So what we're going to do, if we get somebody in a goblet squat position and that doesn't work, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to block their heels. Because if we look here, one of the things that we're going to see is for most people, squatting difficulty is either going to be a core issue or an ankle mobility issue or a combination of a core and an ankle mobility issue. So what we want to be able to do, this is a simple ankle mobility correction. If I take somebody here in this goblet position, and you'll probably look at me and think, wow, you look a little bit better. I look a little bit better because I've changed my ankle mobility in that situation. Third thing, if we're still not happy, some kind of band around the knees. Because what we've got to think about, and I don't want to get super sciencey on you here, but your glutes help you to abduct, which is push your knees apart, and externally rotate. When you tell somebody to put a band around their knees, you get them to engage those muscles in the way that they're supposed to be using them. Some people just struggle to use their glutes. They don't understand the concept of squatting. So now if I get somebody block their heels, ask them to stretch that band, and then say, okay, now goblet position here, between those three things, I can probably get a perfect squat in day one out of most people. I like more sets for beginners because what we really want, we want repetitions and we want repetition. So it's both. When we get 3 sets of 10, we're going to get 30 repetitions. They're going to do it a whole bunch of times. The key for us, no matter whether we're doing, you want to do 3 sets of 8, go ahead. You want to do 3 sets of 6, I think it's going to be too heavy for a beginner. But the point is perfect reps done with perfect form, what we like to call technical failure. Technical failure means when you're not doing it right anymore, you're not doing any more reps. I'm Michael Boyle for Stack.com. We'll see you next week with another strength and conditioning tip.